Hello everyone, welcome back. Um, Last vlog was a little, you know, I've been getting emotional lately. I've noticed that, noticed that with you guys, and I'm starting to get a little emotional. It's a little light outside. I'm going to walk around a little bit more everywhere. That's not gonna be for long. See pretty Christmas lights, pretty Christmas lights. But since I've been getting so emotional, we're gonna go back to basics. I'm going to tell you what has been going on at work for the past few days. Since I made bank, I feel it's right to share what has been going on. Okay, so we'll start with job number one. This job was on Wednesday. I haven't worked all week. I worked a straight 3 days. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Today's Sunday. We're gonna see how much we can fit into this hole of vlog. Thursday. I wanted to tell you, we have a closing time of 7 p.m. Normal, sane people, when you have a closing time at 7 p.m. for your company, you won't go do a job that's 2 hours away, or even 1.5 hours away, because by the time you get there, you won't do that job after 6. Because by the time you get there, you still got to go back late at night, because minimum jobs take 2 hours, and that's already 8 p.m. before we're done, if it doesn't take forever. I think that stuff through. Some people do not. Not gonna name names. um. So, somebody scheduled a job in Texas at 6 p.m. Okay, if you're scheduling a job that late, in his circumstance, he had just got there from Nashville, Tennessee. This guy works for a company, and he ordered us through his company. He ordered us through Moving Help to work for his company. He came in from Nashville. Okay, in this circumstance, I can understand if you can't change your schedule or let us know when you're there. But he had been there for a little bit, you know. But if he did text us and say, hey, I'm here, it was about the same time it took us to get there. So, I'm rambling. Look, we get there at 6, okay? And we start unloading. This is the day I refer to as fishing for $40. Those who don't know, I make $20 an hour as a mover. That being said, some of the worst jobs in my life take 2 hours, and then I don't get jobs for weeks. So, can you imagine what it's like to make less than minimum wage? Oh yeah, sometimes it's great. Like, these past 3 days, I can work on my car now. I have the money. I have the power. But at the same time, I am completely wrecked. My body is destroyed. But most times, it's like a month before I get work. I go, we work for like 30 minutes. I get paid a 2 hour minimum so that it's worth it. And then we come home, and usually the jobs are like in Lafayette, Fort Polk, Port Arthur. The places that are furthest in every direction. But the reason why I call this day fishing for $40 is because the entire time we were there, up until right before we finished, it was raining and gradually getting worse and worse and worse. Eventually, my shoes are still soaked from Wednesday because I have not taken care of that. Call me what you will. However, it was bad. I felt like Jesus walking on all that water. That's just how it worked. It was storming, the ramp was slippery, we could barely get in and out of the truck, and on top of that, we're walking in there moving her stuff, And the guy's like, hey, I want y'all to refrain from going in the bedroom, man, because y'all starting to get tracks in there. I'm just like, you have us moving in the rain with mud. By the way, the trail that we walked to get to the house was sunken in. It was sunken in by the time the rain stopped. So we had to start going around that path to find firm ground that we could actually walk on. Because whenever we stepped in that, we sunk. Yeah. Nastiness. But he's like, no, y'all just stay out of the bedroom. Okay. We just won't bring her stuff in. You know, he's a cool guy, though. Job actually went rather well, despite the rain and the being soaked and almost dropping all the heavy stuff due to how slippery our hands were. And the lady and the guy tipped us, so that made a big tip, even though we only worked like 2 hours. Okay, after Wednesday, we went home after that whole debacle, You know how that works. And we move on to Thursday. So, Thursday, oh, that was a doozy. I wish we would have had enough money to stay the night in Texas because late that night we had a job in Texas, and then early, we were moving on to Friday. Early Saturday morning, yesterday morning, we had a job in Texas. I would have rather just stayed the night in Texas instead of having to go back and forth, back and forth. Anyway, the job in Texas, we had to, we had to do the job in Lake Charles first, and then the job in Texas. So we went into Lake Charles. This day had been this day had been somewhat a cluster, you know what. Okay? Like, it was bad. So we were supposed to be at the job at 10. Supposed to be there at 10. Okay, Justin didn't get any sleep the night before. Therefore, not only does he sleep past 10, he sleeps past 11, he sleeps past 12, and at 12:15, he's just like, oh man, I slept in. We gotta go. And I was just like, we can't do this. We get there, and, I didn't say anything to Justin about it. I'll get to that in a second. When we get there, the lady, her sons who had been helping her since 8 in the morning, okay, 2 hours before we were supposed to get there, she had sent them off with the truck to go put gas in it and to come back, and they were 30 minutes away whenever we got there. So they were getting lunch because they had been helping all day. So me and Justin are just waiting for them to get back. Justin goes to work on his car, which also has, a hole in it. Okay? That's another reason we were late, because when he didn't get up, that made us late because we didn't know about that till after he was driving. Which continues our story in a minute. So, on top of the fact that we were 30 minutes late, he has to go out there and try to fix his tire before the guys get back so we don't have to do it when we're leaving. In that 30 minutes, I sit in there and I talk with the lady, Turns out that because we were so late, the storage unit that she was going to have to put her stuff in, which is in Texas, past Houston, it's going to be closed by the time she gets there because of the time that we're going to finish. So she was upset about that, but she didn't say anything. I just talked to her about it because I'm just like, hey, I'm sorry that we're so late. We didn't mean for it to be like this. And she's like, oh no, just the storage unit's gonna be locked. She was pretty upset about it. I didn't tell Justin that. But it's not. I don't want to say anything because I talked to him about it. Like, I talked to him about being late to stuff. And there's nothing more for me to say. I'm not gonna vent it, especially on here. I talked to him about it like a man. I addressed him about it, and if he wants to do something about it, he can change it. He's a grown man. He can make his own decisions. That's why I'm in my predicament. I am a grown man. I have to make my own decisions, which I am doing. So, anyways. So, 30 minutes go by. Justin jacked up the tire. He didn't get to change it. And we're working, nothing out of the... Oh, I forgot to address the most important thing while I was waiting for that 30 minutes. That lady offered me breakfast. She had 2 boiled eggs. Of course, I had to crack them. But she had 2 boiled eggs just waiting in her fridge. And she's just like, do you want these? Because I'm not going to eat them. And I'm just like, oh, yes. I took the first one and I couldn't get it to crack. So I just took it and squashed it in my hand. That was a crunchy boiled egg. That was a very crunchy boiled egg. The second one, I was a little bit smarter. I just took my pocket tool out and just bashed in the side and ripped it open like a man. That one wasn't as crunchy. It was great. That was my favorite part of that job, was the boiled eggs. But after we finished that job, we still were out there for another 30 minutes. I think that I am not 100% sure, but I think that job was... I think it was 2 hours. So we go and fix the flat. We go and we change the flat out. And instead of going right to the next job, because it's in Texas and we're coming from Lake Charles, instead we go to Walmart. Because if you bring in your tire, they'll fix it or whatever, change it. Cover fee of $10, whatever. So we're in there. He gets Subway while we're in there. He gets some for me too. And I get nostalgic because the first time me and Katie met in person, my dad took us to Subway. That was back before either of us could drive. He picked her up from her church. She worked in the clothes closet, I think that's what it was called, where they would get donations in and give them out to people. She would help her mom with that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I went up there, I want to say it was a Tuesday. I normally went to go see her when she was at the closet on a Tuesday. So I went up to her on a Tuesday, and we just decided to hang out on that day. Her mom was cool with it. Katie rode with me and my dad to Walmart, and we got lunch at Subway. And I remember, like, you're such a wimp, because she was she got like a 6-inch ham and cheese sub with plain bread. And then she's, I told her, like, you sure you don't want more meat on that? You don't want... And she's like, no, I'm good. And then she was amazed at what I got, because I got, like, the Italian BMT on herbs and cheese, foot-long lettuce, tomatoes, black olives, banana peppers, jalapeno peppers, onions, this sauce, that sauce, this sauce, all over the sandwich. She was just like, dang, you gotta eat that? So I was in there getting nostalgic about the first time that we met, and it's now making me not want to eat. So I'm sitting there with a full 12-inch sub, sitting there, not trying to make time go by, just trying not to think about it, eating this sandwich. Normally I can down a Subway sandwich in like 5 minutes or less. This felt like an hour that I was sitting there on the sandwich. It was, I knew I needed to finish it, because I knew I wasn't going to eat after, and I was right. So I finished the sandwich, And we went and waited for another 2.5 to 3 hours for the car to get done. Well, whenever we finished the first job, it was 3 o'clock. We got there at like 1:17. It was like 3 o'clock whenever we left. We left Walmart at 5:30. Walmart in Lake Charles. And then we go to the Texas job that was scheduled after that. So you can imagine how excited and elated we were to go do that job. So that job was up 4 flights of stairs. It was on the third floor, but it was up 4 flights of stairs, which is a lot when you're a mover. Movers hate stairs. If I move out, because Lord knows if I will or won't now, anytime soon. I'm going to move out. Maybe not anytime soon, though. But if I ever move out, if I'm moving into somewhere with stairs, I am paying someone else to do it. I'm done. 5 and 6 years of this, kaput. So, we get there. These people don't want us to deal with boxes. They don't want us to deal with small stuff. They don't want us to deal with anything other than the big stuff that they have to move. Normally, you get the people like that, and whenever you get to the end of, the 2 hours or you're close to it, the people are like, oh, well, you can go get these boxes. You can pick up these boxes and do this and that and this and that and this and that. And we just wind up doing everything. Nah, these people were really cool. We worked for them for about 2.5 hours. They offered me beer. Told them they probably wouldn't want me drinking on the job. So I tapped them out of water, of course, because that's my go-to. And we moved some chests, dresser, table, couch. Couch was horrible. And that was it. They were going to deal with the boxes and all the small furniture and all the small stuff by themselves. At the end, it was like 2.5 hours. So, all's good. I told, Justin normally pays me at the end of the day. Like, I'll work it out. I time the whole day, and he'll pay me at the end of the day for what we worked. So, what he normally does is, after the last job or after the job, he will go to Walmart and cash everything on his card. Not everything. He'll cash what he owes me on his card. That night, we got home so late, I was just like, nah, don't worry about that. Just get home. Pay me tomorrow. It'll be a bigger payout. And he's just like, oh, okay, cool. So, I was an extra 90 in case you didn't keep track of the $20 per hour thing and how many hours I worked, because 2 plus 2.5, that's 90. So, we came back. I didn't go to bed till like 2 o'clock, and then I woke up every hour that night. Got up in the morning and did exactly what I discussed with Justin the night before, which was, I am going to get up and go meet you at your house, since he lives behind me. He lives in that he lives behind my house. Not right behind, he lives on this road behind us. Okay, so I can walk to his house through yards. It's not illegal for me. Anybody else, I don't know. So, I go to his yard. I get up and start rolling. I was supposed to be there from 8 to 8:30. I don't get up and start rolling until like 8:05. And I'm walking out. I got all my stuff. I'm knocking on his door. I'm calling him. It's like 8:25 by the time he lets me in. We were supposed to leave at 8:30 that morning. We didn't leave till 8:40, but this is like the best we can get. The best we can get is like leaving at 8:40. Now granted, the lady was originally going to have us do her job at 8. The first job, which was in Texas, she wanted us to do her job at 8. She changed it to 10 because they wouldn't give her the truck. So, we made it there at 9:58. We were on time for once. Usually we're not really on time. Sometimes it's by a couple minutes. Sometimes it's like 30 to 40 minutes. But this time we were a little bit early, which made me elated. I love to be early. I love to be on time. That's what I love. That's why I drive by myself nowadays. I didn't like being Caleb late. It just wasn't my style. I liked being Pimp Daddy Paul. Those were my two nicknames in middle school. Yeah. I mean, which would you prefer? Yeah, I grew up going to a lot of things late. And it's not like my dad tried to make us late. We were late. And he doesn't think that, but that's part of he doesn't think it's his fault. Now, I'm not saying that there were mornings that we were up and getting moving every morning, but most mornings, after we were late like a couple times, we were like, okay, well, we gotta buckle down and get out there so that we don't have a reason to stay here. And he would, we would be late. Me and Danae had morning practice, though. That's my little sister. We went to band together, so we would go to morning practice together, which starts before school. So, it would... Of course, when you're late for morning practice, you run laps. I have very strong legs to this day. Very strong. And I missed a lot of marching routines. And I learned less on my trumpet. Anyways, point is, that's why I like to be on time. That's why it was such a big deal for me. Another reason is he's worried about reviews, and if you're late, you really aren't looking at a very good review, especially if you're very late. But this time, we were there at 9:58, right before 10. We show up, we're on the clock at 10 o'clock. Okay, so, we were on the clock, and she wasn't there yet. So we go and start on her storage units. We completely empty out one of them. And by the time that's done, and we start working on the second one out of 3, she shows up with the truck. We had been putting everything right outside, to where we can just grab it and throw it in the truck. Grab it, throw it in the truck. Which is kind of what we did. Another fact I should mention, both jobs on yesterday, or load and unload, which means that you fill up the truck and you go with them to their new destination and you unload it into their house, apartment, or whatever, storage unit, wherever they're going. So, we filled up the truck as best we could. She got like a 20-foot, and we could not fit all of her stuff in there because of the way that it was, we didn't organize it that way on purpose. She locked us out of one of the storage units, and I guess they didn't know where the key was or whatever. So we couldn't take out of that storage unit to make better room and better cushioning. So we just had to go out of the two open ones. Once we filled up everything that was in the first storage unit, it took up like half, maybe a little more than half of the truck. We start on the next one. We can't even take a whole bunch out of that one. Washer, dryer, a couple tables, that's it. Truck's full. So, we pack it up and go to the next destination. Start unloading. That went rather well. Dryer didn't fit where it was supposed to go. Because there was like see this? Let's say the washer went on this side of it. Washer went on this side of this bin. And then the dryer went on this side of this bin. Okay, well, the washer fit, but the dryer did not. But we were all just like, screw it. So we're unloading some stuff. The heaviest thing in there was a chest. It was a chest, and I guess it was full of outside tools and stuff. And the reason I say this, okay, the way we did this is, they had just put the trailer on the property. No power, just got water in it. all this and that and this and that. By the way, side note, this lady showed up to her. She waited. We had to wait on her to open the house. Instead of following us to the house, she went and got herself some drinks, and then, came to the house, and then was steadily drinking the Coca-Cola in front of us. I don't like Coke, but at the same time, if you have movers doing something for you for more than 2 hours, and you are going to go get yourself a drink to drink in front of them, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that, those guys have been working out in the hot sun for you, lifting your heavy objects and all that stuff. It's like tipping your waiter, okay? You don't have to. Most people do it because they're not mean. And she wasn't mean, it's just nice of people to offer. She didn't seem like normally we ask, or I ask, or they offer. I'll normally ask at the end of a job, hey, if you have any water. Of course, she didn't seem like the kind where I could ask. So if a mover doesn't ask you for anything to drink, offer it, customary. Even if they have drinks, just be like, hey, you need some water? Swear to God, that'll make them feel better. That'll make them feel better about the whole thing. Not like we don't like doing it. We don't. No mover likes his job that much. But it makes them feel better about being in your company. Because you're nice enough to at least offer. That being said, don't empty offer. Don't offer them something to drink and then be like, oh, well, we don't have anything. I'm sorry. I'm getting off on it. Okay, look. They had just built this house. All of the thing around the house was dirt. It had been mud that just dried. We were taking this heavy chest, and we had backed the truck up to where the ramp went right onto the steps, so we didn't have to go up and down. Okay, well, she had some stuff that she wanted to sit right outside the front door, so we did have to go up and down the steps with this chest in hand. Don't know if you guys remember about my toe injury. At work, whenever we dropped the desk on my toe and it ripped my toenail out like this. Had to get it sewn back on and then had to cut off the old toenail to make way for the new. I know, cringy. You guys cringe in peace. Alright, we're not going to talk about the toe anymore. So, instead, Justin's going backwards down the stairs. So, not only do I go down and miss a step with this heavy object in my hands, instead, there's a piece of plywood right in front of the stairway. So whenever I miss that step, I catch my bad toe on it and lurch forward because I'm tripping. If Justin would have fell, we both would have got hurt. But Justin stayed strong and standing like a man. So we were able to get that on the ground and get through the move smoothly. That job was 4 hours. Okay, and we started at 10 o'clock. It's 4 hours. So by about 2, we're out and we're on our way to Lake Charles. We get to that job because we stopped. I didn't eat anything. I have not eaten since the night before. At this point, I have not eaten since the night before. I have not eaten since Subway. At this point. And that's Subway the day before. So he takes us to Raising Cane's. Don't hate me, you guys. Don't hate me. I am not a big fried chicken fan. I'm just not. I prefer burgers to fried chicken. It takes a lot for me to eat Popeyes. Now, Raising Cane's is good. I just don't eat fried chicken. I just don't like it that well. I'm not dissing it. It's good. It's not my go-to food. So I don't typically eat at Raising Cane's. That being said, I immediately made the worst decision of my life by saying, no, I'm just going to get a drink. I had walked in there to Raising Cane's, and Justin went into the bathroom, and I just walked up to the counter, and I told the guy, I said, look, we've been working out in the hot sun for like 4 hours. My friend will pay for it if you just give me a cup to go get my drink. I really need it. I haven't had anything to drink all day. He just looks at me, and he's just like, I'm just like, I mean, if you can't do it, that's fine. He's like, no. I mean, let me go talk to the guy. I'm not sure if he'll let us. So he goes and talks to his manager. His manager comes up. He's like, you got 23 cents? I'm just like, no, I do not. And he's just like, great. He just throws a cup at me. Got you, man. Cool. By the way, you guys, if you mix Sprite and orange soda, it's awesome. Just like if you mix Sprite and lemonade, it's awesome. Yeah. If you don't believe me, try it. It's awesome. But that's all I did. That's all I got was that drink. He paid for it. Justin didn't even have to pay for my drink. It's whatever. So Justin sits down. This is when I realized I made the mistake by not ordering anything because Justin offered. He sits down with his Texas toast. Or not I don't know if it's Texas toast. He sits down with his toast, his bread and the chicken and the sauce, and I'm just like, "Oh, that bread. That bread would be so good." But, I can't ask him for his bread. Granted, he threw out almost his entire meal. I should have asked him for some bread. Silly me. But, no, after we finished with Raising Cane's, we left for the job. We got there by like 5 o'clock. The man figured it would be a 4-hour job. Boy, was he wrong. It was over twice as long as 4 hours. So whenever we go in, he's a really cool guy. He's awesome. He's funny. He's, he works in IT. He's a great guy. He reminded me of my friend Scott that used to work with me in landscape. He's really cool. We were working on his stuff. He filled up, halfway to 3/4, filled up a 26-foot U-Haul with nothing but totes. Nothing but totes. And that wasn't even everything. So the totes and everything in his back room, just his back room, filled up the truck. At this point, we had surpassed 4 hours just filling up this one load. Like I said, both jobs on this day were load, unload. So we have to go to his house. It's 4 minutes away. His house is 4 minutes away. Whenever we get to the unload, my phone is blowing up with messages from people while I'm trying to go back and forth from the shop to the truck, shop to the truck, shop to the truck, shop to the truck, because all the stuff in the back room goes in this guy's garage. Now, take a look. I don't know if you can see, but see my house over there? Okay, well, this guy's garage was about as far as this barn is from the house. Now, that doesn't seem far to you. It doesn't seem far. In fact, it's a little bit farther. But, just is. It's a walk, but it's not a big walk. Okay, well, this guy, all the totes went inside. But all of his shop stuff, his tools, all the big things that most people would like help with, go in the shop, in his garage. So Justin is wheeling the totes back and forth. He's taking stuff into the house and dropping off the stuff to go in the garage on the porch so that I can grab it and walk it to the shop. So while I'm doing that, I'm getting phone pings and whatever. At some point, I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to stop texting people right now and apologize later. Well, when later came, it was past dark, for sure. Whenever we got there, it was, it was like dawnish. Like it was getting dark. Okay, now it was like completely dark. We showed up at 5. When I show So, me and Justin get in the car and we go back to this guy's house. And we're talking. This guy offers me 2 crates of movies while we're there. 2 crates. like crates, 2 crates of movies. They're totes, but I call them crates because they are full to the brim with movies, overflowing actually. And you best believe I took them up on that offer and took both of those totes home. Now I went into Lake Charles today. I would have rather wait till today and go pick them up in my Yukon, because there would have been more room for both of those totes. But the whole reason he was getting rid of them was so we didn't have to take them to the new house. So while we're loading, I'm not going to skip the terrible part of this story, by the way. I'm going to jump into that right now. Before I get the totes in there, we are moving transformers. And no, these little guys do not turn into cars, though they are about as heavy as a car. The ones without batteries to run in them are not that heavy. They're heavy, but you can move them. You can pick them up and take them places. The one with the battery in it, or batteries, I forgot which, he said, is a monster. And we had to move its little brothers, the 2 without batteries, and that one. So we put that one on a dolly. Hand truck. And we're carrying it out. Right? Well, this man has a step coming out of his door onto his little patio. It's not even a porch, it's a patio. Alright? Yeah, it's like a patio. It's got 1 step and then the concrete, so that's a total of 3. I have to hold the bottom to make sure that the transformer doesn't just fall off the dolly. I have to make sure it slowly gets down. Okay, well by the time we get to the 2nd step, the one right before we hit the ground, I'm going to show you. The transformer, I have my hand like right here. The transformer, whenever we bring it down the step, my finger is on top of the dolly somehow, and the transformer just smashes it and scrapes it up against the dolly, ripping off some skin. Oh, it was painful. There was blood. There was a good bit of blood. Everybody else just looked at me, and for the half second I looked back at them, I just, let's do it again. No screams because it's the middle of the night. There were people sleeping. I just scream, let's do it again. And we go and we drop it back down one, and the guy, he's just like, hurt me again, please. Funny guy, right? He's just like, I know I shouldn't make you laugh, I just had to. It's all good. It's all good. So now I'm walking through his house with a paper towel wrapped around my hand so that I don't bleed on anything. This is, I don't know if you can see. Doesn't look that bad right now, but it like ripped off a good bit of skin and a lot of blood was coming out of it. By the end of the move, I had started taking the paper towel off and it looked okay. But at this point, now I am not carrying a whole bunch of heavy stuff. Now I'm carrying light stuff because my other hand is immobile because the paper towel is taking up all the room on my hand. I'm helping out where I can. I'm just carrying light stuff and I don't even mean to. So we get all this stuff loaded on the truck after that stupid transformer. And by the time we get everything on the truck to go unload it, we had passed 8 hours. Okay, by a little bit. We passed 8 hours by a little bit. Or we were about to hit 8 hours. Yeah, that long. And we just packed everything up. I grabbed the crates, made room for them in Justin's car, and off we went to the new house. So we get there, nothing to put in the garage. We handled all of that. All the totes are taken up the living room. Everything is great and peachy. Now we just have big bulky items and small stuff at the same time. And by small stuff, I mean that we had packed in laundry detergent, Lysol wipes, all kinds of small cleaning supplies, and the like. That's what we were carrying back and forth now. So, Justin told me, he said, okay, when we get to the new house, just rapid fire. Just start throwing stuff at me, and I will bring it in. Okay, fair enough. He's sitting there waiting for the door to unlock. I just start throwing stuff at him. He's like, wait, stop, what are you doing? I said, rapid fire! Boom, boom, boom. He's just like, no, please stop. That's what I said on my wedding night. So he's sitting there with the two downy things in his hand, not wanting to grab anything else, waiting for this guy to come unlock his door. And now I am standing there stacking up Downy products on the banister of his back porch. All kinds of stuff. And he basically tells me, you're going to stay in the truck and just pass stuff along. So that's all I did. And when most of it was unloaded, it was really late. It was like 11:30 by the time that we just started manning up and just stopped using dollies and stuff and just started carrying stuff. He did that with two of the tiny transformers, like the small ones. He didn't carry them by dolly that time. He just picked them up and threw them in there, in that house. This dude, swear to God, he picked up like a ton of different shelf bits, just carried them in his arms and just dropped them on his back porch. Ooh, macho man, wanting to get it done, man. That's what he said. Because we were late, it was late, we were all tired, all sweaty. So, there were two beasts left. We had to get his bed, which he had made himself. It was a big piece of plywood. And I'm going to see if I can size it up for you. See how big this rug is? Okay, it was about as wide as this rug. And it had a frame that, it was two parts. The part with the wheels on the bottom, which was about as wide, and about as long as this rug. Well, maybe a little bit shorter. Like, we'll say like right here. And it had a top piece, which kind of made like an L shape. Except it had another L. It's like an E without the middle piece, you know. So, not too bad. Okay, that part was, you know, that part was easy. Alright, we had the mattress and then the wheelie part on the bottom. And then on top of the mattress was sitting a giant sheet of glass. Tempered glass. For a tabletop. Once we got that thing in, it was not moving. We had set it on the bed because the bed had wheels, and it was easier to roll that to the end of the truck and try to get it off. Nope, that actually made it harder because now we had to pick it up, and I had to fall forward because I'm on this end, Justin's on that end. So whenever Justin pulls, because he's going to have to go around the bed, whenever he picks it up, he pulls backward. He picks it up and pulls backward because he doesn't, you know, he's trying to pull it towards him. And when he pulls it backward, he pulls me under with him because the bed is longer than the glass. He does not realize that he's doing it. So I try to bring it to his attention, and he's like, oh no, he can't pick it up. And I'm just like, you are literally pulling me downward. You are literally pulling me in a downward position. I cannot pick it up while I'm on my knees. You know, I can't pick it up while you're sucking me under. It's not gonna work. So the guy, he's just like, okay, I got an idea. You guys pick up on it, and I'll kick the thing out from under you. So we're a go for that. I try to pick it up, and Justin's still pulling me under. So I'm just like, screw this. I'm going to move over to this side right over here. So I move all the way over. The guy kicks the thing out, and then it starts to lopside a little bit. I scoot back over, and I'm just like, we're doing this now. So we walk it out. This guy has double doors on this house, and it's basically a straight shot in. So it's not hard to get it in and set it down. Not a problem. His other house, we had to pick it up and then turn it over. Turning it over is easier to carry, but I mean, it's easier to get a grip on it whenever you have to just pick it straight up because it's flat. But once we had to turn it back over, I just about lost my knees. Because once it's up vertically, I mean, it's so much easier to carry, and if you have to flip it back over, it just takes all the weight with it. That thing was really heavy. So, whenever we were turning it back, the guy is standing on my right, okay? He's helping me by having his hand over here on the glass. So whenever we have to set it back to horizontal position, he is now reaching across my face and putting the glass down while suffocating me and putting his arms all in my eyes. Yeah. He might as well have just come up behind me and just pressed up behind me and grabbed the glass himself. I would have rather that. But whenever we got to the new house, it was easy. We just walked it in and set it on my table, and then we just had to deal with the bed. Okay, the E thing that goes on the frame was a little bit harder. It was a little bit harder than the wheel one. It wasn't the heavy piece, but it had to go in. It had to go in last because it had to get set onto the wheel part. So we take the mattress off, throw it out, you know. We grab the wheel part, we wheel it off of the ramp, onto the porch, through the double doors, and now at this point, we have to pick it up, carry it sideways, and then set it on the ground. Now, I am picking up from the bottom, Justin is picking it up from the middle. It doesn't seem too bad, no. Half the times when me and Justin carry things together, he tends to twist things in a way that causes my body to deform and take a terrible shape that causes me much and great pain. At this point, I am working past my pain receptors to get this long bed that is not as heavy as a tempered glass, but definitely close to somewhere near that region, made of nothing but plywood and sturdy hardwood, with wheels into this thin hallway so that we can push it into his bedroom. Oh, it was fantastic. We got it in there, though, without damaging anything. The E part actually did damage this telephone holder or whatever, but the guy said he's going to tear that out. So, we got the whole bed in there. We got everything situated. That was the last load. Okay. Now, the time it is, when we finish that load, 12:30. Oh, yes. It's 12:36 is the hours. 12:36 is the hours. Actually, no, it wasn't 12:30. You know how I know that? We didn't get home. No, wait, it was 12:30 when we finished because we went to Walmart. He had to pay me. So, we had worked on for the total for the day, we had worked 12 and a half hours. The guy paid us for 9, we worked 8 and a half. So, we worked 8 hours and 36 minutes. Whenever we hit 8 and a half, Justin just pays me 10 for that. She didn't figure that out. This guy, because they don't add half hours on the website, you can add hours to your order. He just said, I'll just pay you for 9, because it's like past 12:30 now, and none of us want to deal with anything right now. And he's just looking at us, and he's like, no offense to you guys, but I hope I don't have to see you for a long time. And we look right back at him, and we say, the feeling's mutual, buddy. The feeling is mutual. So, we come home without me eating anything. Justin bought me a Surge. and I go home. I am now pulling in the two crates. My mother and I are sorting through movies. I got home at 2:15 and went to bed at 2:30 in the morning. So keep in mind, I have been gone since 8:15. I left my house at 8:15 in the morning and got home around 2:15 in the morning. So, to be clear, I was gone for 18 hours away from my house. For a total of 18 hours of nothing but excruciating pain and heat. Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But it paid me well. Paid me very well. I just never want to have to work that hard again. I don't care. I don't care how well it pays me. If I'm away from home for that long. But yeah. At that point, I just told my mom she can go through the movies, and I was gonna go to bed. I woke up a million times in the morning and decided to finally get up at 11. I had now not eaten for 24 hours, so I was going a little loopy. Because even though I feel sadness and depression and I don't want to eat, my body gets all screwy with me when I don't eat. So I have to eat something. But yesterday I had been working all day, so my appetite was even worse than if I'm just sitting in my room all day not eating. Oh, it was bad. It was really bad. Yeah, that was about the gist of it. I mean, today, today I tried the interstate for the first time. I've always been terrified to drive on the interstate. Not because I can't drive, but just because, I just didn't want to have to deal with the interstate, so I always take routes without the interstate. But I wound up taking it home because it was faster, and it was already like 5 o'clock. I had dropped off my liquid temptation. Since I'm not supposed to partake in that anymore, so that I can start living a healthier lifestyle, I decided I'd give it to somebody who wants to drink it and who has their own version of self-control. I'm not dissing them. They're pretty cool. That's why I gave it to them. So now I'm not going to be tempted to be doing that at all. The only temptation I have right now is cigarettes. To go out and buy some. Yeah. Of course, I saw something last night at 2 in the morning that really, irked my nerves a little bit, is that now to buy any tobacco product, I guess you have to be 21. I thought you could be 18 and buy cigarettes. Like, when did that happen? I don't know. But yeah, that's the gist of today. When I got home, I just started going through movies. I've been watching them just to see which ones work. I've only gone through 2 so far. They were good movies. Chris Evans was in one of them. It was like Not Another Teen Movie. Good movie to watch with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or with your friends. Not your parents, not your grandparents. If you're that close to your cousins, maybe, but definitely not something you want to watch with your family. But it is, I think it's funny, but a lot of people in the older generation, like my moms and my dads, my dad finds that stuff funny. He's a guy, so he will. My mom does not. My mom does not find that kind of stuff funny, along with anybody in her generation who is female. But anyways. But yeah, that's about it for today, you guys. I just wanted to give you guys some content that wasn't just about me being emotional. Because I know that you guys have been watching, and you guys have been steadily, supporting me on that. So I wanted to give you guys something back that wasn't all me, it wasn't all emotional, how I'm feeling, this and that, and this and that. Just to let you guys know that that's not going to be a constant thing. I do keep you updated on certain life events. So that's me saying that, you know, if more stuff comes, you know, the more stuff I do, the more likely that I will be talking about it. But if I wind up not doing anything, the more likely I will be talking about emotions and drama. So hopefully I can get a job or get something to get me out of the house more often, because then I'll have more to talk about than my feelings, because men don't talk about their feelings. But wow, this is gonna be my first hour video in a long time, or almost hour. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. You know, you live your lives. You live them the best you can. You live them the best way possible. You guys have good lives. You guys have good structure. Call on people if you need them. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I can't do the. There we go.